Hello students, let us see this problem from NET December 2017. So they have given you a cascade of D flip-flop, okay, and they say the initial states of this counter, okay, is Q3, Q2, Q1, Q0. The state of the counter is defined by Q3, Q2, Q1, 0, and initial state is 0, 0, 0, okay. And now they say if you apply the clock pulse, because they are all are synchronized with clock, okay. So this is basically a twisted ring counter, okay. This is a twisted ring counter, also called Johnson counter or mod 2n counter also. So there are 4 flip-flops. That means it should have 8 states. Now when you apply the clock, okay, it will transit through its states, okay. So this Q0, Q1, Q2 will change. So initially the value is given 0, okay. Now you can see that these are all D flip-flop, okay, and the input of this first flip-flop of Q0 is connected with Q3 bar. So if it is 0 in the beginning, this is 1, and this 1 is operating here. Similarly, 0 is operating here, 0 is operating here, and 0 is operating here, okay. So basically Q3 bar is input. Q3 bar is an input for Q0, okay. So initially before the pulse arrives, okay, the D value for this one is 1, D value for this one is 0, D value for this flip-flop is 0, and this D value for this flip-flop also 0, okay. So you can say Q3 bar is input for Q0, and Q0 is input for Q1, and Q1 is input for Q2, and similarly Q2 is input for Q3, okay. Now we know from the D flip-flop, whenever your D value is 0, then it gives a reset state, okay. So present state may be 0 or 1, the next state will be always 0, okay. Similarly, if the D value is 1, the present state can be this is a set variable, okay. So the present state will be 0, it become 1. If it is 1, it remain 1, okay. Now let us see what happens when clock pulse arrives. So when first clock pulse arrives, okay, so input for Q0 is 1. So this is basically shift work as a shift register. So this 1 will shift here, okay, because the variable is input is D, and so initially Q is 0. So this Q0, okay, Q0 will become 1, okay. So I can write the Q0 is 1 because D value for this is 1. Now this becomes 0. Reset state will be reset state. This will be reset state, okay. Now for next, before the next pulse arrives, okay, again your Q3 bar is 1, and one second pulse comes, this sees this input for this Q0, so this become 1, and the 1 is input for this one, so this shift here. Similarly, the input for this is 0, the input for this is 0, so this remain on 0, reset the state. Again, if before the third pulse comes, okay, your Q3 is 0, so your Q bar will become 1 again, okay. Now third pulse comes, again this this remain in set state, okay, this remain in set state, and this will also become set because the input is 1, and this remain on 0 state, okay. Again, before the fourth pulse, Q bar is 1, so this become 1, 1, 1, and this also become 1, okay. Now when before the fifth state, now this Q3 become 1, so Q3 bar becomes 0. Now that this will go to reset state, okay, and this will remain in set state, this will remain in set state, this will remain in set state, okay. For next pulse also, your this is Q3 is 1, so Q bar is 0, okay. So now this will become in remain set state, this will become in set state, and for input for this is 1, so this remain in set state, this is also remain in set state, okay. Now for sixth pulse also, your Q0 is 1, Q3 is 1, so Q3 will be 0. So when seventh pulse come, okay, what happens? This is again, this remain in reset state, this remain in reset state, this will become reset state after set, and this remain in your set state, okay. And now again the Q3 bar becomes 0. So before the eighth pulse comes, this becomes 0, this becomes 0, this becomes 0, okay. So this is the sequence. Now you start from 0, again come back to 0. So this sequence will continue, okay. The counter will go through states, okay. So what are the states? Number 1 state is your 1, 1, then you have a 3, then you have a 7, then you have a 15, then you have a 14, then you have a After 14, you have a 12, and then you have a 10. Okay, and then you have a, sorry, you have a 14, and then so 15, then you have 14, and then you have a 12, and after 12 you have a 8, and after 8 you have a 0. Okay, so 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8. Okay, so you have a total 8 state and 4 flip-flop, that is a mod 2n counter. Okay, so this is the option they have given as option D in the question. Okay, so this is the option D. So this option D is the correct answer for this question. Okay, I hope you understand the question. Thank you very much.